Hey everybody, so Bill at Spartan Forge has tasked me with building him a rifle for this year's antelope hunt using CyberScout exclusively. I have a hunt for antelope in Wyoming this year. What should I look for in a rifle? So one of the key things to interacting with CyberScout is to continually be asking it further questions, right? Like I kind of gave it a broad subject for this, but now once it gives me a response, then you can dive deeper into each individual subject. And so first goes into caliber choice, and it's recommending something with flat trajectory, high velocity. Completely makes sense. The winds of Wyoming, you're going to want something that's flat. It's also hard, or flat shooting. It's hard to judge range out on the open sage flats. And they're recommending 243, 25-06, which is excellent, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 270 Winchester. Something barrel length and profile, optics, saying go for something 4 to 12, 6 to 24, something in that range. So we're going to dive a little deep into the first subject right there. So caliber choice. Let's expand on the first category. I would also like to use this for deer and need the ammunition to be commonly available. And what you'll notice too, as you start prompting it with questions built into that initial conversation, it'll start to respond a lot quicker because it's already pulling from that information. Okay, so the answer it spit out, it expanded on the options that it gave us earlier, but it also gave us a few more options, including 308 and 30-06 in there. Going through this, I really like almost all the calibers that are on there, but I think we're going to go with the 270 Winchester because it's just very versatile. You get a lot of velocity, especially if you want to push a 110 grain bullet, you're going to get a pretty fast velocity out of that and do really well in the antelope woods, or antelope plains, I guess it would be. Also, ammunition is very readily available. All right, so I'm going to say, let's talk rifles now. I am going with the 270. What is a good factory rifle option? All right, so choosing a 270 Winchester as your caliber is a stellar choice for versatility and effectiveness in the field. All right, so here's some of the options that it's given us. Tikka T3X at the top, Savage 110. So Tikka T3X, great option. They're super accurate from the factory and have a great reputation as far as quality is concerned. Savage 110, another excellent rifle, especially with their Aki triggers that they have. Excellent choice. Remington Model 700, classic. Depends what area you get. They can be off and on quality-wise. Browning X-Bolt. I don't have a ton of experience with X-Bolts, but I do have buddies that love them. That also is accurate. And then the Winchester Model 70, which is one of my all-time favorites, especially the .364s. Excellent rifles. So for this, again, we didn't want to pinch pennies, but we didn't want to also break the bank. So we're going to go for a mid-level. And we're going to go with a Tikka T3X just because I have had such great results with them. Also, wanted to go with a wood stock for this, and Tikkas have one of the better designed wood stocks out there, in my opinion, as far as looking good while also being practical. So now we're moving on to optics, right? We have a rifle picked out, we have a caliber picked out. Let's go ahead and see. I'm just going to say something simple here. Expand on the optics choice. So when I ask it to expand on optics choices, one thing that it does is it's not just like giving me like, hey, try this model and brand or whatever. It goes into all your considerations. So you have magnification, objective lens size, reticle, turret adjustments, optical quality, and then it gives you a list of recommended scopes. So that going through all of those, it's giving you a paragraph or so of, hey, these are things to consider in your scenario for antelope hunting. And if you see one that you want to expand more on, just say expand on number 3, expand on number 4, and it'll deep dive into that and give you a much more detailed look. So magnification 4 to 16, 5 to 20, or even 6 to 24. Objective lens size. Again, we want to keep this kind of light, so we'll go in the 40 to 50 millimeter range. A reticle. You don't want to go too complex with the reticle and get confusing. Turret adjustments. I like capped turret adjustments for something like this. More than likely, we're going to sight it in for holdovers as opposed to doing turret adjustments on this style rifle. We're talking probably sub 400-yard shots, which are definitely doable that way. All right, so recommended scopes. Got Vortex Optics Viper, and goes into the exact model. Leupold VX5 HD, Zeiss Night Force. So it kind of gives you a whole range of price points too, right there. I mean, you get the highest end of Night Force, got Leopold and Zeiss, and then you also have Vortex in there. We're gonna go with that Vortex Viper for this build. Again, keeping in mind we're not going super high end, but it is a good scope for the price range. So now I'm gonna type in the rifle that we're using and the scope that we're using and see what kind of mounting options they recommend. So asked it what kind of mounting recommendations it has. Goes into different, like what you want to look for in rings and bases. Honestly, it didn't quite hit where I was going with the question, but I was very broad with the question, so I'll get more detail. But it goes into some really good points here, like ring height, what you should consider when picking ring height, whether alignment and lapping is the right way to go, torque specs, and then leveling. So all great subjects to speak on, but I'm kind of looking for a recommendation for a brand. So I'm gonna actually I guess I'll just ask it, do you have any brands you recommend? And I'm doing this because I have a lot of trusted brands that I personally like and use, and I'm curious to see, and I also know which ones I don't trust, and I'm curious to see what kind of response I get and whether those answers kind of coincide with my personal beliefs at this point. So I asked it what brands it recommends, and it really nailed it. Tally, that's usually my first choice. I've really had good luck with them, especially their lightweight base ring combinations. Night Force, Evolution Gunworks, you can't go wrong with any of those choices. So, yeah, I like that a lot. And since it's usually my first choice, and they tend to fall right in the right price range too, we're gonna go with the Tally ring base combos for this build. Nice and lightweight, but also durable enough to do the job. So you guys can now see how useful CyberScout can be as a tool for hunt planning and different gear and equipment. We basically went through, asked all the questions, and came out with a rifle that's going to do the job for us, or for Bill out on his antelope hunt in Wyoming. So I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you have a really good success story using CyberScout, please let us know. We'd love to hear about it. So thank you guys, and we'll talk to you later.